Hello beautiful people, it's Sindafam. Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be checking this video, and it's Harry and Meghan Markle's Colombian visit causes royal commotion. Seriously? Interesting. We're going to be checking this video together. Let's check it out.
I'm going to start with this. I mean, we touched upon this somebody. I mean, I think I'm getting a little bit. Everybody knows what I think about Harry and Meghan. I respected their decision to walk away. Then they go and sell their soul, and ever since then they've been trying to play this game. The Duke and Duchess will begin their 4-day tour, although the royal family don't like that phrase, of Colombia, of course, which is very famous for coffee and drugs, during which they are expected to visit a town that has become a symbol of anti-colonial resistance. The couple are being hosted by Francia Marquez, the Vice President, who is known as a vocal champion of Afro-Colombians and women's rights. Tone deaf would be an understatement, Robert. I would love to know, if you have any insight, what on earth do the powers that be in the British royal family make of this? These people who jettisoned or wanted to jettison any involvement in an organisation that they called racist, in an organisation that they thought was outdated, in an organisation that they've done nothing but slag off in return for money, they now are under the impression that they're important enough to go on some sort of fake tour, and so deaf are they, they're going to an exact place that's against the very thing they represent. Help me out.
Well, the royal family, of course, at this time of year, are not actually active. They're up in Balmoral. The king can still be seen doing political boxes. But this is a chance for nothing to do with it being a royal tour or being royal. It's a chance that they know that the rest of the royals are not being seen publicly, so they can get their moment in the sun, if you like, their moment of publicity, and people in the newspapers will write about it. There's not that else in this genre to write about. I suppose that's one way of looking at it. But royal tours are actually quite important. That's the point. They're there to foster soft diplomacy. They're there to promote the Great Britain PLC. They're organised and requested by the British Foreign Office. So they're actually important events in terms of soft diplomacy. This is a stunt dressed up as a royal tour to just promote this couple that are, forever demanding privacy, but actually all they want is publicity to sell their wares. I mean, this has got nothing whatsoever to do with Great Britain, yet it's been seen as this alternative quasi-tour, which I think is rather dangerous, really. And I think Harry should be a little bit ashamed of himself in trying to dress this up as
very tawdry, isn't it? Colombia, I'm sure.
Well, you know the funniest thing? Let's just look at this, because obviously they know this will piss off the royal family. It will piss off the family. So they will do it anyways. Do you think they will stop and think and be like, okay, is this a good idea? No. Anything, as long as it is not in the book where the royal family would be excited, would say, okay, they are doing this, they are at least helping out. But no. They know this was not, they know that it will get them talking. Or what do you think? Because woman's rights. But let's see how it goes, or let's see how it plays. Obviously, it's going to be something that will play according to how they want it, for their publicity's sake, or whatever, their PR, or whatever. So let's see how it plays. Or what do you think? Because, yeah, people might be worried and all of that, but I mean, these are grown adults. They're not kids, they're adults. So let them go and find out. What do you think?
Should be a little bit ashamed of himself in trying to dress this up as
very tawdry, isn't it? Colombia, I'm sure it'll upset people, but Colombia is famous for drugs, for God's sake. What?
Well, it's one thing there, and it's not the greatest government at the moment, and they're under a lot of fire. So that's another thing in terms of the way the British government would look at this. They'd be saying, well, we wouldn't be sending anyone there at the moment. People in Colombia are asking, who's paying for this? Who's paying for the security? Who's paying for the flights? Who's paying for the hotels? So I'm sure that this is a country that's already got enough problems. But this is all about Meghan. This is all about Harry. And some people are really already saying they're just being used by a pretty hopeless government in Colombia, which, you can see that argument.
I find it extraordinary. I mean, I wrote a word down before we spoke, which was tawdry. I think it is tawdry, and I think I don't know where they go from here. I mean, I honestly, genuinely agree with Piers. I think they should be stripped of their Duke and Duchess title. You cannot be. It's this obsession with using the only thing they've got, but that's the very thing, ironically, that they are.
Well, we just saw someone there, you know, one of the dignitaries sort of doing a curtsy to the Duchess. Well, number one, she's not. The Queen Elizabeth made it very clear that they're not to trade or use their royal titles. If they're not using their royal HRH, then there's no need to curtsy or bow to these people. Also, I mean, there's no need for that anyway, frankly, and they don't even ask it in the current royal family. But this is all part of the. If they are going to be Meghan and Harry, just be Meghan and Harry, and stop making out you're actually in some way connected to the British royal family. Yeah, the children on the demand, their demands have been made a prince and a princess, but this is all ridiculous. If you don't.
Do you think they want to go back to as Harry and Meghan? Because if they would have done that since. But you see, the Duke and Duchess is paving way for them. They are using it to pave way. Because, I mean, who will not love a royal name or royal title attached to their name? If now you go give them out. Obviously, they know the importance of having that name. They don't want to be working royals, but that name alone, that title, will give them way, will get them invited to places they will not go. Ordinarily, with just Harry and Meghan, they will not go. But with that title, it will get them a seat at the table or a seat on the table. So, I mean, they will still want to keep the name because of the kind of lifestyle they want. Or what do you think?
Their demands have been made a prince and a princess, but this is all ridiculous. If you don't want to be part of the system and you want your privacy, then you've got to.
They want their bloody cake. They want their cake, Robert, and they want to eat it. They want to slag off, but the only way they make their money is slagging it off. They want privacy, but then their oxygen is being in the bloody newspapers and being front and centre.
When you see something like this, Jeremy, and you hear that the King's not taking Harry's calls, well, is there any wonder why? He's embarrassing the institution that the King serves, embarrassing his family. And to be honest, it's going further than that because it's sort of giving the impression that they've got this alternative royal family. Now, the last person to do that was Edward VIII, and he went running off to Nazi Germany. It's not quite as bad as that, but it's a similar sort of situation that led to a feud that never healed between Edward VIII, who became the Duke of Windsor, and the King, George VI.
I can categorically tell you, you and I are probably cut of the same cloth. I don't believe there is any chance of rehabilitation, and I stand by something I said 5 years ago, and even my old man at the time went, geez, that's a bit upfront. He will come back to the United Kingdom with his ginger bits between his legs because she has done a complete job on him, and he is going to find it almost impossible. There'll be the bedwetters who say, oh, he's the... No. This is... If you step back from it, it's embarrassing, it's hypocritical, it's tawdry, it's desperate, and that just sums up what they are. And I believe that Harry will get to a point where he'll go, what am I doing? I want to move you on to something very quickly. You know, I used to live on the Long Walk. I was telling the story about 2 years ago. I was just minding my own beeswax one afternoon, and some travellers came onto the Long Walk. It's extraordinary, Robert. About 50 caravans, 20 white Range Rovers, and some travelling community. And usually it takes several court cases and a lot of hassle and whatever. The army came out of Windsor Castle within about 11 minutes, and trust me, they're off down Old Windsor Road, past the farm before you could say Jack. Extinction Rebellion, stupid unwashed people. Apparently they've announced to the press that they plan to storm Windsor Castle. Officials say that the activists say they aim to break into the royal estate, block roads and target hotels during 3 days of chaos. I myself hope they do, because I'd love to see the bloody army take them out. What about you, Rob?
Well, the other thing is they should remember these people that there are a whole series of tunnels that come out of Windsor Castle. That means if they're storming the castle, these go back to when it was built. that then the army go through the tunnels and then they attack them on both sides. So good luck, Extinction Rebellion.
I think it would be the perfect.
I
think it would be the perfect end to a hideous organisation. I hope Just Stop Oil join them and the army do a pincer movement and throw them in the Thames. Robert, it's fantastic to have you on and delighted about the book. Just to repeat, Sunday Times bestseller, Catherine, the Princess of Wales. Go and get a copy. We really appreciate you being on, and we'll speak to you very soon. The amazing Robert Jobson. 12 minutes to.
But obviously, do you think they are better off as being Harry and Meghan? Because that title alone is paving ways for them. And they know within their mind, they don't want to be just regular people. They can't even be. And they know that if people start seeing them as just Harry and Meghan, people will not be interested in hearing what they have to say. Ordinary people are not even interested in hearing what they have to say. But as they still have this title, but let them not have the title at all. Nobody will care as they want them to care. So they know. So it's the fact that they are doing all of this, going on these visits, unofficial royal. Like, it doesn't even make sense. If you want to be a working royal, then be. If you don't want, then know that it is not for joke. It is not even a children's game. So what exactly are they doing? I'll leave it for the people of Colombia to share their thoughts on this, how they feel about this, because obviously they also have a say in this, or what they think. I really love your honest contribution. You can share the useful information you think might be really helpful. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe and all of that stuff. And until next time, see you in the next video.